Welcome to the Navigating Dental Insurance Podcast, where we don't take from insurance companies. Here are your hosts, Mr. Jordon Comstock and Mr. Ben Duine. This podcast is sponsored by BoomCloud Dental Membership Software, www.boomcloudapps.com, and Veritas Dental Resources, www.veritasdentalresources.com. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the Navigating Dental Insurance Podcast. Today I'm your host, Jordon Comstock. Cory, how you doing, man?
Good, man. It's a pleasure to be on today.
Yeah, Cory's here in Utah with the rest of the entire dental tech world.
It's true.
Right?
It really is true.
Everyone's in Utah, it seems like. So he came into our office today to hang out in our studio and record some episodes for our podcast and to hang out and record some chapters in our BoomCloud University that we're going to be launching here soon. But today we're going to be talking about the value of a phone call, and we wanted to bring you in as an expert. You know all this data, so tell our audience, what is the value of a phone call for a dental practice?
Well, first of all, that's a question that we're really going to dive into throughout today. But it was probably, what would it have been, Jordan? Probably a year ago. I'll start with the story. I got home. It was probably 11:30 at night one night, and we were doing a webinar the next morning, Jordan, with about 400 of us, or 400
attendees.
400 attendees. And I ordered some Domino's. I'll be honest, this is an endorsement for Domino's. I love it. They got a great deal. They got a great deal.
They pay really well.
And I took a bite into the Domino's, and I have a dental implant pretty much on almost my front tooth. And I bit in, and
How did you get the implant in the first place? That's what I wanna know.
Okay. I'm not the most athletic, and I took a baseball to the face at 16.
Baseball.
And it knocked her right out.
That'll do it.
And so I got home, bit into the Domino's, and I felt like something click in my mouth. And I was like, oh, that's weird. And then I felt like, it just felt weird, and I noticed that my dental implant had fallen out, and just the post was left. And I was like, oh boy, this is a problem no matter what, but it's a problem because at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, I'm getting on the camera with 400 people, and I look like an absolute pirate.
I love it.
And
I would have totally done it with it.
Now looking back, hindsight 2020, I should have done it. I didn't.
Yeah,
that's
facts.
facts.
It would have been funny.
So I went to bed knowing I'm not going to get a hold of a dentist at 11:30 at night, and I got up at 6, and no joke, I just typed in dentist to Google and call. No
you don't have like a
answer.
normal dentist you go to?
Well, he was in Salt Lake, so I couldn't have made it all the way up.
I see.
It was about an hour commute
before
each
the
way.
webinar, so you're like, how do I get in?
How do I get this thing fixed?
Yeah. Do you have insurance?
Yeah.
Okay. I always have to ask that question.
And so I finally get a hold of this dentist at 7:20 in the morning, and they're able to see me right away, and I'm able to get the implant cemented back in.
Mm-hmm.
And no joke, I was telling this to someone last night, I had the best patient experience.
Okay. Going to that dentist. You called on Google.
Yeah, and they had great reviews. They had great reviews on Google.
Get your reviews. That's always important, right? We've had episodes on that, so.
I went in, and it was an amazing dentist, but they picked up my phone call when I answered. And we live...
Step one. Step one to getting new patients. Pick up the phone call.
We live in a very impatient society today. I'm impatient, and a lot of the millennials are impatient out there.
I'm impatient. I am very impatient. Yeah.
And so if you place a call to the dentist and
especially
they don't
if my
answer...
tooth fell out and I need to get fixed, and you're trying to get it, you're very impatient. That increases.
Absolutely.
So if you're not answering the phone with patients that are in situations like yours, then you're in trouble. You're not going to You're not going to get new business, new patients. Sorry.
No, you're totally right. And what that is it's the beginning of a patient experience. Patient experience doesn't begin when someone walks into your office. Patient experience starts the first time someone says your name.
Yeah.
Patient experience starts when they get a mail flyer from you that says, hey, come to our office, come check it out.
That's first piece of patient experience.
Yeah, and then they're going to say, okay, I'm going to go to the website, and guess what? If you don't have the best website, that detracts from their patient experience for a lot of people. And then they choose to place a phone call to you. And if you pick up that phone call and have an engaging conversation, that's part of the patient experience. But when you don't pick up the phone call, and this is where we become much more of the expert, there's detrimental effects. And so after this, we sat down with a DSO, Jordan, and we said, okay, well, let's look at over 1 million phone calls, and let's figure out how often a dentist office misses a phone call.
Yeah, you looked at what? I got notes here. You looked at 1.4 million calls, right?
1.4 million calls total. 32% of those phone calls that were placed to the dental office when they were open were missed.
Wow. 32%. So what's that hard number? Do you have that memorized?
Oh, I do not.
1.4 million?
Well, we can figure that out.
Yeah, we can figure that out easy. 1.4 million. Let's check this out. So the hard number for that is 32%, right?
Yes, sir.
448,000 missed
Phone calls were missed.
And out of those phone calls, were they? How were the categories? Were they just overall phone calls to the practice, or were they new patient phone calls?
No, that was
over.
No, yeah, that's a really good question. That's overall phone calls, but the way I look at that is that's a third of all opportunities coming into the practice were missed phone calls.
448,000. Like, that's insane.
It's mind-boggling. And so now that's a huge stat to claim, and we get that. If you look at data across the board for dental offices, it's 28 to 32% of phone calls are missed.
Really? So, I mean, let's say just even out of 1,000 phone calls, that's 320 opportunities missed out of just 1,000.
Yep.
320, and obviously you were tracking a lot more than that, but let's say if your practice got 1,000 new patient phone calls in the month, you're missing 332% of those opportunity, or 320 potential new patients, or, I mean, I'm sure 1,000 new phone calls, that's what's typical when you see new patient phone calls for a practice. It's marketing.
Yeah, so we're not able to completely differentiate new patient phone calls because of phone trees. But what we do know is that an average practice right now, Jordan, is missing 90 phone calls a month.
90 phone calls per month.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And they could be a combination of existing emergency patients like yourself and new patients that are wanting 90 phone calls per month. That is kind of insane.
No, it's absolutely
That's a lot
insane.
of opportunity missed per month. What is that per year? Almost 1,000?
Yeah, you'd have 1,080 phone calls in a year missed. And you know what? Just a few of those even if just a few of those phone calls were high value phone calls, you are paying yourself back right away.
Yeah. Implant cases, emergency cases. There's a lot of revenue to be generated off of those missed phone calls.
And I had such a good experience with my dentist when I went in, Jordan, with that dentist in Utah County.
So let's talk about that a little bit. What, in detail a little bit, because I think we talk about on the podcast and everywhere, we talk about, hey, the importance of patient experience. But for you, what out of that experience, what made it good for you?
Yeah. So I'll lay out, and every individual is obviously unique.
Gonna be unique, yeah.
So I'll lay out kind of what.
I'm sure there's going to be some similarities in all patients.
Yep. So first of all, they had great reviews.
Mm-hmm.
I called in, they answered, and they were able to assist me when I needed it.
When you were stressed.
Oh yeah, we're so sorry. That sucks, but we can't help you. It was, oh my goodness, we totally understand. Let me see if I can get the doctor to make some time.
Yeah. And most of the smart practices out there will leave some emergency time every day in the schedule. Mm-hmm. So the practices that don't do that should probably do it, because that increases the patient experience.
When I walked in, it was seamless, and truthfully, I love aesthetic. The office was gorgeous.
Yeah. When you walk into a practice, and if it looks like crap, so everyone knows that I manage a dental lab, and I've been in a lot of practices, a lot, and the practices that look good always have a great patient experience. The practices that look bad, they either get bad reviews, or the patients feel like we're going to get our teeth cleaned in this place or fixed in this place. It feels like a dump, right? So that's a huge part of patient experience. And even if you are in an older building, you can throw some new paint in the wall and get some new furniture and make it feel a little bit better, right? It's pretty simple.
It wasn't the outside of the office that made it gorgeous. It was it was the detail to the interior.
Okay.
They had paperless forms when I came in, so I could simply give them my information. Obviously, I could simply sign on an iPad, and I was good to go.
Yeah.
And the doctor was ready for me, and they were in a few minutes to put my implant back on. And because of that overall experience, Jordan, I started going to him full time as my dentist.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So you left your dentist in Salt Lake.
Yep.
To go to in Orem.
Uh-huh.
In Orem, Utah, because of mainly the patient experience.
I've never had a experience with a dental office like that before, and I've always been to the same one. But because of that, they've won me over as a completely new patient.
Yeah. Very cool. So keep that in mind. Starts with what? What did you say? Starts with like that direct mail piece.
Yeah, I mean, it
and
starts
then the
in
phone
any
call,
form.
which is extremely important. And then inside your office patient experience, making it really smooth and easy for patients, especially when they break a tooth.
Yeah, and look like a pirate.
And look like a pirate, and they're about ready to get on in front of 400 people for a webinar.
And what I often make the analogy to is patient experience is a funnel. And at any point, there can be holes in your funnel. That can be a bad website, not answering the phones.
Yeah.
Which so
seems like a big problem because 32% of calls don't get answered.
Yeah, a third of your opportunities is falling out of the funnel. And so my thing is, instead of pouring more water down your funnel, make sure that you build the systems to have a very efficient funnel.
Yeah, so let's go to that. What are some of the ways or systems a practice can create or have that helps decrease the missed opportunities with phone calls?
So first of all, you've got to sit down and collect data, I believe, before you make decisions.
Yeah.
And so you actually can audit your phone call list and say, where am I missing my opportunities? Because if it's...
So how do you audit that? Like
you can actually pull a report from some phone companies, some it's not.
So like we use YipTel, which is a Utah phone company. I'm assuming that we could do...
You with most voice over IP brands, you can.
You can.
Now, if you can't, you can also just click on your phone and see where you're missing calls compared to when they're answered.
Yeah.
And you've got to say, okay, during a 30-day period, when am I actually missing phone calls?
So you can see the times.
Yeah, you've got to say, okay, are these phone calls coming at 5:30 at night? Because then you probably should just pay a staff member to stay a minute longer.
Okay, and do you see that on a regular basis, that phone calls to dental practice happen after work hours?
We do see that. We actually see more missed call volume in the mornings, though.
In the mornings? Like what time you're seeing?
I mean, it depends when an office opens up, because our volume comes from when they're not answering the phones.
Of course,
but from that 7 to 9 range, there is a huge volume that comes in and that we receive because they're missing phone calls.
So 7 to 9, you said?
Yep.
Wow. Okay. 7 to 9, they're not missing phone calls because the practice is usually...
Are you open?
Maybe they're not open. Maybe their phone system. I know if you use some voice over IP phone systems, you can allocate like a schedule, and the phone may not even be on at that time. So look at that, because I know we had that issue a while back when we got our new phone system here at BoomCloud, and it was automatically turning on and shutting off on certain times, right? And I had no idea until we called and said, oh, this is what's happening. Oh, well,
here?
We need to open that up then so we can answer the phone. So same thing with your practice. Look at that phone, the phone system company when it's turning on and turning off. Sorry, those.
No, these
are my tips.
No, these are great things. And so people have to say, okay, when am I missing my phone calls? Are they in the morning? Do I need to double staff? Or some practices receive such volume and patient experience matters to you so much, don't dedicate your front office member to answering the phones as your first line of defense.
So have like another team do that.
Yeah. So oftentimes
in-house or outsourcing it.
No,
or both.
In-house.
Okay.
Oftentimes the schedule coordinator can have their own office. I've seen.
Yeah, I've seen that as well.
And they're the first line of defense in answering the phones, so that if you're the receptionist, you can engage with the patients, check patients out, confirm information without picking up the phone, putting it on pause, hanging it back up, so on and so forth.
Okay, cool. So just having first line of defense, basically internal systems for that.
And we at CallForce, we can't tell practices this is how to do it.
Yeah.
But I'm more about practices understanding where they're missing their opportunity, because you can say, oh, we're missing a lot of phone calls, and dentists or office, members will say, okay, well, we just need to pick up the phone. But you've got to say, okay, where are we missing it, and just build a system. And that could be double staffing. That could be having someone outside the office pick up your phone
after hours, or over slightly after, like 5:30 to 7 or something.
Yeah, and most phone calls, most people think, oh, we're missing phone calls before or after hours. Yeah. Most phone calls are just missed during the day. Offices can
because
get
they're
chaotic.
too busy. They're working with patients, which is totally understandable. Working with patients, and then the phone just gets missed because there's the office team. The office staff is too spread thin sometimes. So making sure when those crazy days come that you have some type of scalable system to help out with all that.
Yeah. And then at CallForce, our ultimate goal is to be your backup team.
Yeah.
Because guess what? There's no such thing as a perfect practice. There's no such thing as a perfect company who doesn't miss a phone call. We miss phone calls at CallForce.
We miss phone calls. We do track that too, right? We've got a dashboard with our voice over IP and service, and we track all of our missed and answered phone calls and everything there. So it's, and then we try to, optimize it as we learn the data, right? So as a practice owner, you should be doing the same thing with your team and having those meetings to understand, if your practice is missing opportunities or not. So tell us more about CallForce. What is your services? What can practices benefit by using you guys?
So obviously we have different services, but what we've been talking about today is missing phone call opportunities. Yeah. And at CallForce, our goal is to make sure that you never miss an opportunity. And so whether a practice is open or closed, when you guys are closed, the phone call automatically routes to us, and we're going to pick it up.
Oh, cool.
As Smith Family Dental.
How do you do that? Do you just work with the phone company to route it to you guys, to forward it to you guys?
So whoever they use, whether it be Comcast or YipTel, will be able to hold a joint call with the office and the phone provider. And when the system is closed, it auto-forwards to us.
So auto-forwards.
Mm-hmm. And then during the day, if the practice is open and it rings 3 to 4 times, no one picks it up and then forwards to us.
Automatically forwards. Okay. So you got a system that you work with in the practice to help answer those phone calls if they're missed. Especially, so we talked about scaling the systems because front offices get crazy. I know my mother is an office manager. She's just down the street here from the BoomCloud office, and every once in a while I'll go and say hi or try to bring her lunch or help them with. They use BoomCloud, so we help them a lot because they're just down the street. And often I go in there and it's kind of a madhouse, right? So if you have a lot of those days, which a lot of practices do, right, you need some type of backup support system to help answer the phone calls like CallForce. So you're a scalable solution for practices because, when their office gets too crazy and busy, the phones are still being answered and you're scheduling and helping out.
We love being the backup team. Our goal is not to take everyone's phone calls, and we built a system because we realized that there's a lot of companies who picked up the phone for offices. So we built our solution only for dental offices so that we could take your new patients and not say, oh, well, I'll have the office call you back with this message, but we can get you down for a limited exam if your tooth happened to fall out.
Yeah. So you actually help. You don't just say, we'll have the office call you back. You don't do anything like that because that's bad experience. If you ask me,
because you're not getting things done.
Yeah, you're not getting things done. So you guys actually get things done because I've been on phone calls with call answering services, and that's what they say. Well, the office is out to lunch right now, and
we can have them give you a call back.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens, and that's frustrating as a patient. So you guys actually help the practice get things done when they're not answering the phones.
Take new patients, reschedule hygiene, schedule for a limited exam, and if they have really in-depth billing or insurance questions, we can tell them, hey, I'm actually just a scheduler for the office, but let me have so-and-so give you a call when they're at their desk.
Yeah. So, but you can help schedule and do all that stuff.
All of it.
Which is super cool and unique, if you ask me, because, I've worked with practices for over 15 years now, and it always, especially when I was at the dental lab, we'd call call the office to get like some data on the case that we were working on, and let's say it was like 2 minutes before lunch or something, and we'd get this call service and like, well, we can't help you out with anything. We're just gonna have to tell the practice to call you back when they're back from lunch or whatever it was, right? And honestly, they would never give us a call back.
Oh,
you have to be so proactive, right?
You had to call again.
You had to call again. Maybe the answering service never displayed or gave the message to the office. So with that said, when you guys do take a message to the office, do you have a system to help remind the practice on all that?
They get an urgent message from us saying,
"Oh, cool.
Cory Pinegar called in regards to a financial question. We said, Joy would give him a call later today. Here's his phone number. Here's his date of birth."
Cool. So you guys have an automatic or an urgent message to get across. I'm sure this office that I'm thinking of that had an answering service didn't have anything like that, because
they sent the pigeon through the clouds.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it was. So anyways, super cool. What are some other services that you're doing right now in Call Force?
We actually are also assisting offices with their website chat.
Cool. So any form of patient communication you're doing, you got webs. So talk about that as well, because I love this topic.
No, and it's all about being cutting edge. Dentistry, there is a lot of dentists, especially here in Utah.
In Utah, there's a ton, as we know. We drive, to the office and see countless dentists.
And you go onto their website, and a website chat is a way to engage with any type of company in a quick manner that's less invasive. It's not getting on the phone. You can ask questions.
Even though phones are they're still really powerful. I mean, even here at Boom Cloud, we're a tech company, but our phones they're powerful tools still. Like, they're not irrelevant. Right? But we do have live chat too in our software and we see a lot of benefits from that. So sorry, keep going.
Well, no, this is good, because Jordan this morning we were talking about this, and he said, I'll let you take it from here, about how you like to work with web.
Okay, the story I told you. Okay, so yes, I'm like, oh crap, I don't remember what he's talking about, but I do remember now. So yes, I'm busy. Although I have complete control of my schedule, I'm a business owner. Much like I'm sure there's a lot of patients that you have, but there's often days where I don't feel like jumping on the phone and scheduling an appointment with a doctor or a dentist, right? So a few services that I use, they have these chat services that I can get on and easily through my busy day get on and schedule an appointment, or even ask a question to see if I need to schedule an appointment, and I can easily get on their radar without having to like try and call and be one of the 32% that's missed, right? when you're trying to call the office. So to me, I love using the chat services because of the ease and because of my schedule sometimes gets too crazy. So a lot of your patients are the same way. Everyone is working full time, I'm sure, and has a job or has a bunch of kids at home that they're trying to take care of, and it's hard to make phone calls all the time. So that's why I like chat, because it's convenience. And I'm a convenience guy.
No.
I like a lot of things that make my life a little bit more easier.
And it's a patient experience for
it's
you.
It's a patient experience as well, yeah.
And within dentistry,
a good one.
If
they answer.
Sorry. Within dentistry, it's not something that's often found. With larger tech companies, there is online chats. But for people at work who aren't able to step away from the desk to ask, hey, how much is your teeth whitening program? Or can I see the dentist later today? We offer those services. So we put the widget on the website. It's color-coded to fit the branding.
Cool.
And the issue with website chat is you pretty much have 30 seconds to respond. Yeah. Or else the person's like, no one's here.
Well, and I'll be honest. So I used to help practices install a chat service on. So I still own a company called Rocket Fire that helps practices with their websites. And we used to put on chats on their website, but had this practice manage it. And just like you said, practices get spread thin, right? And if they have an extra task like answering web chat and things like that, it probably won't get done, right? So your service helps the practice actually answer and and even schedule through that. Can you schedule
You can
through
you
that?
can schedule through that. You can schedule a limited exam. You can get pricing information. You can schedule with your favorite hygienist who you saw last time if you really want to.
Very cool. So the chat service is pretty freaking awesome. Like I always love it when practices have that, because it's just another way of communicating to your patients that you care and that you want to give them a good patient experience.
We had a practice last week start with the chat service, and the first patient who chatted decided to schedule with the doctor to get braces.
Sweet.
So, I mean, just that experience right there pays for itself for the year.
Just that one service pays for the chat service. Yeah, I would imagine. So there's countless services that you can that a patient can order, through a chat service or schedule through a chat service that would pay for that service. So if you ask me, it would be an awesome investment for the practice to have some sort of chat service on their website.
And while Jordan was talking there about phone calls, within dentistry, I think phone calls and chat are really important. And there was some data that we were talking about before we got on today, that within the next 2 years, the amount of phone calls going from mobile phones to businesses will double. So now more than ever is the
85
time.
billion to 169 billion in 2020, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy. The amount of calls that will. Your phones are still like extremely important.
Chat is
and next year it's going to be even more important because it's doubling.
Chat's wildly important, but more than ever, people want to talk to real people, and so have that option for the people on your website, but answer the phones. And as you provide all of those services, you provide ultimately a perfect patient experience because you cater to all needs.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, what's the name of your chat service? Is it Chatforce?
We need to.
I just was curious.
Soon to be Chatforce. We're rebranding.
Callforce and Chatforce. What is it? Do you have a name for it?
Or we just call it our website chat service.
Your chat service. You
totally
brand it as like Chatforce because that would be cool. But
it's
that's just my opinion. So, Cory, thanks for coming on our show today. It's been
an absolute
awesome.
pleasure.
So, if anyone that want to reach out to check out Callforce, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
So obviously people can go to our website, which is www.getcallforce.com.
Okay.
And more so than anything, our mission and my mission at Callforce is to help dentists succeed. And that doesn't come by people using Callforce or not. So people just have any questions about data,
You're a resource guy. You give resources.
Scripting. Yeah. Email me personally, and my email is Cory, Cory, @getcallforce.com.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Cory, for coming on our show, and we hope you guys have a rocking day.